Hello and welcome back to the True Crime Comedy Podcast, Murderess Podcast. I am your host, Sidney Smith, with my co-host,
Jamie Kamaya.
What up, Jay?
How are ya?
How are ya? Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of this podcast where we look at real-life murders committed by women. Only women, except for our Patreon. If you want to go join up, we do have some great stories there where the first two Patreon's bonus episodes have been on men, actually. The great tight end of the New England Patriots now dead by suicide, so they say. Aaron Hernandez.
So they say. And
we tell the story of when Jamie Kamaya met Aaron Hernandez right when Aaron was in the thralls of his murderous.
It was a doozy.
Rampage. And then we just did another one. Armin Mivas was the subject of that one, and that was a great one too. Again, I posted this on social media, but that bonus episode brought a new meaning or a real life meaning to eat a dick.
Yes.
So
literally.
And Jamie, with all his brilliance, actually wrote us a mini screenplay episode in there that he and I act out. So if you want
Jack of all trades.
Yes, please. So check those out. And you can do that real simple and easy by going to patreon.com/murderous podcast, or you can go right to our website, murderouspodcast.com, and then click onto our fan club page, and it'll take you all through those things. And you can see the different tiers we have that have different rewards based off those tiers. For those of you who have not done it, but you listen every week, and I want to thank you guys right now for listening every week, because without you guys, we don't continue to grow and grow and grow, and we are growing. So thank you. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star rating. We would really appreciate it.
5 stars.
5 stars. I think we're up to 36 or 37 of them right now. So we're making a nice clip.
Nice.
there.
That's a good amount.
Yeah. And then leave us a nice review. I think we've got 9 reviews right now.
Leave any review you want.
Do not leave any review you want. See, this is why we're going to get into this in a second. Do not listen to anything Jamie says before the podcast.
Brutally
starts.
honest is what we want.
No. Well, only if it's good. Only if it's good. If not, turn this off right now and go on about your business.
Send us a private email.
But yes, if you could do that, I would be most appreciative. And go ahead, don't forget to subscribe and keep downloading each and every week. If you click that subscribe button, boom, it does it for you. It downloads every week. You don't have to worry about it.
And every once in a while, clear your phone out so it's not taking up all that space.
This guy, again, with just the Cliff Clavin over here talking to you live and direct. All right, so shout out to our Patreon patrons already who have already joined us. Thank you guys very much. We do appreciate it. You help keep the podcast going. And then a special shout out actually to my homie Courtney, who I was hanging out with last weekend. I was working with Jeff Dye. I think I talked about on the bonus episode, but hanging out with Jeff Dye, working with him this weekend. Great time with him. Randy Valerio out of LA and Josh Nelson out of San Diego. We had a great time at CB Live right here in Phoenix. And Courtney was hanging out with us. She is part of the company, and she's a fan of the podcast, amongst other true crime podcast.
We appreciate you, Courtney.
Absolutely. And then she's been trying to get other people to listen as well. Gave us a nice shout out on IG as well.
Well, gracias.
And for people out there who are new to the podcast, my co-host is actually a red-haired white guy from Boston who, for some reason, will drop Spanish words in the middle of sentences for no reason.
Hey, no comprendo.
There it is. So thank you, Courtney, for all that you do and for supporting us. Now, we have a little bit of a debate going, Jamie and I, and not that any of you could help us. For people, again, who do not know Jamie and you've not been listening to this podcast or have not known him for double-digit years like I have, Jamie doesn't put up a lot of fight on a lot of different things.
Pretty late.
He's beyond laid back. Take a marshmallow, put it in a bowl, put it in the microwave, set it on 10 seconds.
Non-confrontational.
This is
around.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's what they say about people who could actually get confrontational, but not this guy. Except for I found the one thing where I said to him something that is true, and
Larry Bird trade was not the best trade.
And I was joking with him, but it's still true. Jokes can be true. I said I'm smarter than you are, and all of a sudden his nipples got hard and he got into fucking tizzy about it. I just
wanted to know where you got this from.
And so I told him, have you taken it? I have taken it, and I've got. Can you beat this score? Well, who gave that to you? Where'd you get that from?
Going on to Yahoo and Googling.
No, nobody Yahoo'd and Googled anything. Tests. Nice try, Slick. And this guy, and he's known me for double-digit years. I've never been anything with him but honest. But he started questioning me like he was wearing a badge with a gun on his head.
He said you were 12.
What does that mean?
You took the 9-year-old test.
9-year-old test. so
You're the smartest 9-year-old we got.
So
12,
it's
sir.
very possible that it may be my voice is the only one you hear going forward on this podcast because Nipples over here. I wish he'd put his shirt back on.
I have something on.
How hot do you? It's not that hot in my office.
But it
bro.
has got a little cooler. You turn the AC down. It feels like.
Well, yeah, I should have to do that for the guy who can smell
Yeah,
baked goods when he comes to my house.
Okay.
Yes, I should always adjust that. Jamie, would you like to say something to the people here about our conversation?
Well, you told me about a Wonderlic score you had, and I didn't realize you were trying out for the NFL. That you were going to need to take a Wonderlic score.
Do you think the NFL is the only company that uses the Wonderlic?
It's the only one I've ever heard of.
All right, well, then we could question you.
Intelligence doesn't mean facts that you know.
Right, gotcha.
You can know a lot of facts and not necessarily be intelligent.
This is true.
That would be me
for people who can't see me. Obviously, for all of you, I'm shaking my head as I say, yes, that can be true. That can be true.
So we got a 32 on this online Wonderlic test.
How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm just over here. Got out of the doctors. Found out I'm a bit of a risk for a couple factors like heart attack and stroke.
You're not at a bit of a risk. You are risk.
I was 10 pounds lighter than the last time I went. I don't know how that happened. I think I stopped drinking during the week.
Isn't it amazing you can lose 10 pounds and still be at risk?
10, yeah, well, geez, I could lose 30 pounds and be at risk.
How many more pounds did she say you needed to lose to not be
Well,
at
we
risk?
didn't have that conversation, but I know my goal is 199. I want to get under Wonderland, as they call it.
Can the people know where you're at?
I was 263 fully clothed.
Wow.
Wow. Get out of here, US.
Wait a minute.
Now you're just being hurtful.
I'm not. But you're making me laugh because you said 263 fully clothed.
So you got to be thinking, I mean, I got these sneakers on, these jeans. Jeans are one of the heaviest pants you can wear.
That's why I'm laughing because I remember being a kid. They asked, how old are you? I'm 10 and a half.
259 and a half, if I had to guess.
259. But you know what? That's not, I know, again, hate to keep saying, but I've known you a long time. I hate the same thing happen to you. I mean, you really got to stop coming to my house and eating my Pop-Tarts, bro.
Well, your wife's nice enough to leave those whole grain ones out. And
if she didn't, you'd eat my regular ones.
Well, but it's not my first option.
She went to the grocery store yesterday and picked up a few things. She picked up new Pop-Tarts, but she got a bigger box.
We've already said this. She is the glue that holds this podcast together.
Especially after this argument today about who's smarter.
As soon as I leave, who's smarter, me or Jamie?
Oh no, I never have any doubts about that. we'll be asking that, but
she won't want the same argument. So she, no, you, honey.
Oh, please. No, but what I was going to say was, yes, she got the Pop-Tarts. So she said, I got the bigger box so that the two of you can share. Oh. Share? He doesn't live here. He doesn't need to share.
I went in there. I left one last time. I come back a week later and it was gone. And I was actually bent. You ate my Pop-Tart.
First of all, there's two things. Now, there's two things I got to confess. One, I ate it out of spite.
I bet you did. Were you a fool?
Because I don't eat Pop-Tarts that much. And two, how dare you be bent about me eating my Pop-Tarts, you rat bastard.
Are they, though? I feel like they've become mine at this point.
This feels like it. I feel like I can't take a vacation and I'll come back. You moved in.
Oh, just leave a key under the mat. Just leave the Pop-Tarts under the mat.
You know, the strange thing is they do sell Pop-Tarts at all grocery stores.
Yeah, but I don't go down that aisle. I'm not allowed to.
That's why you come over here and
yes.
cheat. And obviously, your girlfriend does not listen to the podcast because you're still alive.
Oh, no, she is. She knows about my Pop-Tart fetish.
Okay, so let's get off the Pop-Tarts. Let's get back to what happened at the doctor. So that happened. And of course, you had to tell Avilia about it because how else?
Yeah, the doctor goes, can I set you up with a nutritionist? I go, no. I know what to do. I just don't do it.
I'm curious of that because I'm the complete opposite of that. As far as you and our yin and yang in terms of eating and gym and that type of thing.
I go to the gym now. I get up at 4 a.m. now. I go to bed at 8 a.m. I watch a Mark Wahlberg video. Got inspired by his lifestyle. No, the lifestyle now, not back when he was a racist beating kids.
But thank God.
But he gets up at he goes to bed at 8 p.m., and then he gets up at 3 a.m., starts his workout. So I'm doing that now. I go to bed at 8. I get up about 4, go to the gym, start one job. Once I'm done with that, go to my other job.
Every day you're doing this now?
I've done it all this week and about a week and a half into it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So getting up at 4 is easy. I thought it was going to be a disaster. But if you go to bed at 8, I don't even need an alarm to wake up at 4.
My problem with going to bed early is I just don't need a lot of hours of sleep. So I can go to bed at 8. I can guarantee you I'm probably up somewhere between midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm up.
I shoot for 6. 6 is a good number for me.
Right.
6 hours.
Yeah. And then I'm up for 5 hours before I'm like, oh, I'm exhausted. I need to lay back down. It just throws everything off. So that's great if you can go to bed that early and wake up.
Yeah. If you're only sleeping 5 hours, you wouldn't need to go to bed early. But still, when you go to bed 10, 11 o'clock every night, then you just immediately switch to 8, you don't fall right asleep. That takes practice. You actually have to get up early and get tired.
Mm-hmm.
So by 8 o'clock, the two of us are sitting on the couch, like doing the head bob because we're losing consciousness.
Yeah, I would need a lot of practice because normally I can't go to sleep. Well, I've been kind of exhausted for the last month or so, a lot going on, but normally I can't go to sleep until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh God, no! I can't remember the last time I stayed up that late.
Right. So I couldn't imagine. And
it means your brain won't shut off.
My brain does not shut off. It's always thinking of something. I can write something. I can do this. I can do that. What can I do better on things I'm already working on? Yeah, it's tough for it to shut down.
How do I get that Wonderlick up to a 34?
Oh man, if I could just do that. If I could just be that much closer to.
What is a perfect score on
Jamie's? I thought it was 40. No, 50. I think it's 50, actually.
50.
I think 50 is the perfect score for a Wonderlick. They scored a little differently, but yeah, I think a 50, somewhere around there. And the only reason I know, I think AJ McCarron or Ryan Fitzpatrick, one of them got a perfect score on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The 50, a perfect score, huh? So 32 actually sounds less impressive now.
No, not really, punk. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. This is like talking to a guy who's a virgin trying to tell you how to have sex. I don't need this.
I'm not Mr. Knowledge in that department. Not brand new. Not the big V.
Hey, you're all right. You married an older woman. She'll teach you a couple of things.
Yeah.
Or
you're
dating.
I got proof.
You got a kid, you got proof.
Yeah, I'm not married, but dating.
Children.
Living with.
Children have children. So I mean, that doesn't prove anything. All right. So what are you going to do to make these changes going forward? Anything at all? Or am I going to be looking for another podcast?
No,
partner?
I'm going to keep, only a week and a half into this new lifestyle, but it's been consistent. So ask me like a month and we'll see where I am. We'll ask where my weight is and, am I still going to the gym in the morning?
Can you use the word consistent when it's only been a week and a half?
No, that's what I'm saying. Give me another month.
Okay.
Then we can use the word consistent.
So then the Pop-Tart spout should probably shut off here at the Smith.
Well, I'm going to go do cardio at the gym after work today.
Then the Pop-Tart spout should be shut off here at the Smith household.
No, I don't agree with that.
Why not?
It's whole grain, dude.
No. It's still got
it's got
a lot of sugary goodness on it.
You got to set realistic expectations. I'm not just going to eat a salad every day.
I love you.
Got to balance.
The best thing about this is I look great in a black suit. So that's the greatest
Well,
thing.
black is my color. I mean, it is slimming.
No. I said I'll look great. No one's going to care.
You're at my funeral.
The casket's closed.
Oh, well, you can speak at my funeral if you'd like.
Oh my God! Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read off all of my awards and my report cards.
Question 1 on the one. Question 2.
Oh, nothing to say, Jamie?
I could see you just like chicken heading at my freaking coffin. I can't hear you now, can I?
You know how competitive I am. All right.
What's a good amount of cholesterol to consume a day? I can't hear you, Jamie.
All right. But so I am curious about one thing. When you get news like that from the doctor, what does that do to you? Does it make you, are you fearful? Do you feel scared? Do you think about Jack?
Well, it wasn't a surprise. So not really. I mean, and given the fact that I have made a conscious change as of late, I think I'm kind of like talking to myself out of the bad news a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I am getting on health. I'm getting on blood pressure medicine.
Okay.
And a statin for my cholesterol. So, and I have to go get blood work done to see in a month to see where I stand.
Okay. Because I feel like if I was sitting there and someone told me that, a lot of things would go through my head, but I think fear would be one of them. If someone said, you are a candidate for this and for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just the numbers. My age, my height, my weight, you factor them in. I'm sure I fall on a curve somewhere towards the right.
So it's not anything you thought about then or before going into the doctor's office?
No, I mean, it did. That's why I was at the doctor's. This wasn't like a routine checkup. I went there to find out, okay, I haven't been on blood pressure medicine for a while. Why do I feel like my head's going to pop? So there was a reason to be there. So I didn't really hear anything I wasn't expecting to hear.
And I'm not trying to be a dick or anything.
No, it's a fair question.
I've never been your size before or anything like that. So I've never. Stop
I'm
lying.
not trying to be a dick.
I'm
Let me
not
put this
trying-
the most
not-
dickish way I
I'm
can.
not trying to be a dick.
I've never looked like that.
never said that. But I'm just trying to envision what I would, what would go through my mind, and I'm trying to see if it comes to what went through yours when you actually heard that type of news.
I don't know. You just know. I know what I got to do. I just have to make the decision to do it.
All right. Okay. Well,
And some people, maybe I need that like drastic thing to happen where I have a heart attack but don't die. Maybe that'll change.
huh? You want to roll those dice, do you?
No, I don't. But sometimes I wonder if that's what it's coming to.
All right. I just for me, I think I would probably think of Jack or something like that. That would go through my head, stuff like that. Thinking of those things.
Meh.
All right, we'll see, and that's why I ask. And so,
I'm right worth more dead to my kid than I am alive.
You are a strange,
financially speaking.
Strange little man.
Financially
You're saying
speaking.
stuff like it's the
I
weirdest.
still have knowledge to bestow on him. I got to teach him how to drive.
I'm smarter than you. So if you leave, I'll take him under my wing.
Then you can teach him how to drive if it happens before he's 16.
All right, I'll teach the young fellow how to drive. It's going to be an awkward lesson, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I'm sure it will. He likes to mash the gas and mash the brake.
Are you taking him out already?
Oh yeah, well, some dirt roads and stuff. He's only 13, so he's not technically supposed to be driving yet. But I figure let him go into it. He's gotten better. I will say that he's gotten better.
I'll make a deal with you.
All right.
I don't want anything to happen to you, but if it does, I promise I would take Jack and teach him how to drive if you leave me in the car that you're driving right now, because he's not getting behind the wheel of my car.
So you want me to leave you a car payment in my will?
No, just a car.
Well, this car's not worth much unless you're going to make that payment.
What are we talking about here? Your life insurance can't cover that?
That's to bury me.
You got one of them plans like old people do in those Sunday morning commercials. For the cost of a cup of coffee.
For the cost of a cup of coffee, you can not leave the burden of burial on your family.
Oh,
that's
God.
what I've done.
All right. Well, I feel like you're bringing me down with your bad health news. So,
but hey, for $7,000, my car.
You drive a hard bargain, but
I'm going to hit 160,000 miles the end of this month.
You caught me on a good day.
You got change for a 10,000? I can't break it.
All right, folks. Once again, thank you guys for joining us on Murderess Podcast with Sidney Smith and my co-host Jamie Kamaya over there. We hope you guys are doing well. We will be having some swag coming your way over the next couple of weeks as well. Some different things I've been trying to think about and put together here for a T-shirt or two for us. I think we have the Murderous Podcast T-shirt, but there's some other things I want to
How big will this T-shirt go
drop
up to?
out there. What's that there?
How big will this T-shirt go up to? How many X's?
You're going to have to be about 250 pounds better to wear any of these T-shirts. So
God damn it.
You got to drop another 20 pounds.
I'm in there. But that's like a 2X, isn't it? 250 is a 2X.
Well, we'll put you on the scale. We'll see where you are.
What are you in? 1X, would you say?
Depends on the cut of the T-shirt, but 1X. I can do a 1X or a large. It just depends.
I think a large would be really tight on you.
What's that?
A large would be tight on you.
Again, it depends on the cut of the shirt.
I don't know. Like a large on me would look like I dressed a doll or something. Like it wouldn't even cover my belly button.
I don't like what you're doing. For people out there who've never met me,
you're not fat.
Okay,
you wouldn't make fun of me if you were fat like that.
I did not make fun of you. I just got done having a concerned conversation with you.
Never have I ever looked like that. As you pointed at me. They can't see that, but you pointed at me.
I did not point at you.
Pointed right at my man cans.
The worst thing,
I've never had those.
I mean, if you took them and put them on a nice looking chick, yeah, those would be nice. They're man cans. I didn't point at you.
That'd be a 64B.
The worst thing about doing a podcast, though I love this podcast, is people can't see, so you tell all kind of lies.
No, I tell nothing but truths.
Truths. Let's get on with this darn story, man. It's a good one, too. I sent it over to you, and what did you think when I sent the story over?
I thought this was one nasty lady.
Absolutely.
Nasty.
I had never heard this one. There's been researching it and putting it together from the sources that I was looking at. I said, one, I couldn't believe that I had heard of it because there was a movie done. There's been a couple different ones, but I believed as recent as 2007.
Oh, was a movie on this case?
Yeah, on this particular case. And I actually looked at the clip of it. I didn't care for the movie, so I'm glad I didn't see it. But it's a very interesting case. Diabolical comes to my mind when I look at what this woman Gertrude was able to do through this time period in a short time frame at that. So
yes.
Definitely looking to jump into it. And I know you had some qualms about us maybe doing it. And
well, not qualms, just concerns that sometimes it can just get a little too
which is crazy because episode 2 was about a woman. I told you this morning. I said, what are you talking about? We did episode 2 on Nightly, and she skinned a man from
She skinned a dead man
from the top of his head.
You could skin me when I'm dead. I won't think anything less of you.
I might do that. Thanks for the tip.
Yes.
I'm not skinning anybody.
A nice sharp knife.
All right. So let's jump into this one. What?
You got to get a sharp knife.
No, but that's
cut around the organs and
I'd be
the
like
joints.
pulling an orange over here with you. What are you talking about?
Nick a bone.
On this week's episode of Murderess Podcast, we explore Gertrude Baniszewski, a.k.a. the Torture Mother. This is a story that I was so unfamiliar with, and ignorance would have been the bliss for me. I would have loved to live in that ignorance had I continued on with it, because this is such a strange and fascinating episode we're getting ready to jump into. Gertrude Baniszewski, also known as Gertrude Wright, was an Indiana divorcee who oversaw and facilitated the prolonged torture and mutilation and eventual murder of Sylvia Likens, a teenage girl she had taken into her home.
Oh, ooh, this is already yucky.
Baniszewski was born Gertrude von Falsen in 1929, the third of 6 children. Little is known about her childhood, except that she shared an extremely close bond with her father, but had a frigid relationship with her mother. A further wedge was driven between Gertrude and her mother when Baniszewski's father died in 1940. The 11-year-old Gertrude watched her father die of a sudden heart attack.
Oh, there's always something. There's the catalyst.
The stressor.
The stressor. Where we're going.
I've been watching a lot of not NCIS. Criminal Minds.
They love the word stressor.
They love the word stressor. And I love that show. I'm a huge fan of Paget Brewster. I still think she's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, of course. Her and was it AJ Cook?
Yeah, AJ Cook. Yeah, beautiful.
2 of them.
Yep. 5 years later, Gertrude dropped out.
Penelope.
What's that?
I said Penelope.
What else?
You know what? Has a wonderful personality.
That is so. Says the guy who's 260
pounds.
People.
I can talk about my people.
My people.
It's like my version of the N-word. I can say it.
What is this with you and your versions of the N-word?
I don't say that word.
This is horrible. Horrible. 5 years later, Gertrude dropped out of school at the age of 16 to marry 18-year-old deputy John Baniszewski, by whom she had 4 children. John had a volatile temper, often beating his wife for, quote unquote, annoying him.
Buddy, I get it, but you don't go.
No, you don't.
do that.
Yeah, you do not.
So I didn't mean to laugh at that.
I don't know where that even came from. You caught me off guard with it.
For quote, I think it was the quote unquote annoying me.
Well, that's what it says. Quote unquote, it was for annoying him. That's why he beat her. The two stayed together for 10 years before eventually divorcing. Gertrude was granted custody of their children. Within a year of the divorce, Gertrude met and married a man named Edward Guthrie, who divorced her after 3 months when he tired of having her children around.
Did you not see that coming, buddy?
You know what? I'm not going to dip in that because I don't know about what these kids were like at that point.
But he had to know before he got married.
Absolutely.
They were little assholes.
They didn't necessarily even have to be little assholes. It could be just you didn't realize whatever you didn't realize. I don't know.
Maybe back then you didn't live together till you were married, and it's like, okay, these little fuckers.
Yeah. What is with the little fuckers? Maybe they were just there. Maybe the fact that they were just there was just
no fuckers. I can just tell.
All right, let's go here. Shortly thereafter, Gertrude and John Baniszewski reconciled and remarried. So she remarried the first husband after that. The guy that was beating her for annoying him.
Oh, man. And those kids weren't annoying? Jeez.
She went back and married him again. So the couple stayed together for 7 years and had 2 more children before finally divorcing permanently in 1963.
Permanently.
Around this time, the then 37-year-old Gertrude began an affair and moved in with a 23-year-old named Dennis Lee Wright, who further abused her.
Oh, jeez.
But
she has a type, right? We can agree she has a type.
Well, I was reading this, and what it made me think of was something that I talked to my baby sister about a lot, because I feel like, I hope that every man out there has a better understanding of himself and his people, men in general, and you can give some advice to women in your life. And one of the things was I used to tell my sister was men, we all know what we're looking for. And we know how to trap whatever it is we're looking for. I mean, we're hunters by nature, if you get into that conversation. Yes. And so every woman will have a certain, if you want, for lack of a better way for me saying it, and apologize for anyone who takes exception to it, have a certain scent about them. So if you're an abuser, you know how to find women who will take that abuse. You know how to set that trap and figure out if that's the type of woman you assume she is.
That's how you sniff me out.
This has nothing to do with you and your man cans.
I do what I want.
And so when you say things like you just said, she has a type.
That's right. Oh,
okay. No, I think the guy has a type. Those men had a type, and she fit that type. They were looking for someone they could push around and abuse. And they each one of them saw in her, whether she told them outright or they did whatever little. No, I would tell my sister, when you meet a woman who's in an abusive relationship, it didn't start out abusive right away. He didn't just punch her in the face the first time. Mine. It was little things he would say, "You're mine," or maybe it was a slap once or twice, and she let that slide, and then it escalates from there. So whatever it was. So when you say that she had a type, no, I think these men had a type, and she just fit it.
Well, she went back to an abusive person.
Absolutely.
So when I say a type, I mean she was wired to be with someone like that.
Yeah. And I wasn't trying to say that you were being derogatory when you were saying about it.
That way. Yeah. Just type, I guess that's why it's a high level word. It can cover a lot, I guess.
And so, well, it's not a high level word. So take it easy there, Mr. Here we go. So she ended up with a 23-year-old named Dennis Lee Wright, who further abused her. She became pregnant by him twice, suffering one miscarriage, possibly as a result of an assault by Wright, and giving birth to one child. This child, Dennis Jr., would be Baniszewski's last child. In all, she had 7 children and suffered 6 miscarriages.
Wow, that's a lot.
That is a ton. That is a ton of pain.
13 pregnancies and a little over half took.
There is so much pain with miscarriages in general. One,
like physical pain, dealing with it, or emotional.
Well, I'm okay for women. I don't know how it feels for them physically. I've never went through that physically, but I know through the emotional, the mental.
Oh, I'm sure.
And for men as well. Not saying for these particular men, but for men and generally speaking, there's a lot of pain in that as well with a miscarriage. Also,
oh, I'm sure.
Shortly after Dennis Jr.'s birth, Dennis Wright Sr. abandoned Gertrude and seemingly disappeared from the face of the planet. She was left destitute as Wright had been supporting her financially. She was now forced to support herself and 7 children on occasional child support payments from the unreliable John Baniszewski, and by performing odd jobs around town, such as babysitting and doing other people's laundry for them.
Oh, do what you got to do to make ends meet. I mean, I applaud her for that.
No, absolutely.
Probably the last thing I'm going to applaud this woman for is my guess if we're covering her.
Financial problems were quickly exacerbated when Baniszewski discovered that her 17-year-old daughter, Paula, was 3 months pregnant after a fling with a middle-aged married man.
Oh, my God. Middle-aged? That's my age. That's us. We're middle-aged.
This is where the story would stop for me, because I would have killed that man.
And that was it. The guy's dead. And
was it? That's over. All right. Thanks for listening. But around this time, Gertrude's health declined. She was chronically ill with a number of unidentified illnesses. She ceased practicing proper hygiene and barely ate. Eventually, these factors began to affect her outward appearance, resulting in a receded hairline, sunken eyes, and an overall skeletal appearance. Baniszewski began to present herself as Mrs. Wright, claiming that she had in fact married Dennis before he abandoned her, which allowed her to keep up a veneer of respectability.
Oh, yeah. Not her fault. So did she say she was a widow or just a divorcee?
That I read a lot of different articles and a lot of other things online and could not find where she was able to say or did say she was a widow.
She just didn't want her original last name and have children. I see.
Well, 7 of them. So you walked around with 7 of them from multiple men. You know, the best thing you could probably try to do for yourself is try to tell people you were married, even if you weren't.
Yeah. 7 kids. Damn.
In July 1965, Paula Baniszewski met up with a friend of hers, Darlene McGuire, who introduced her to 2 neighborhood girls, Sylvia Marie Likens, age 16, and Sylvia's younger sister, Jenny, age 15, who was required to walk with braces due to polio. Paula took the girls back home to 3850 East New York Street, where they drank soda, and for people out there from my neck of the woods, they drank pop.
Go there and egg that house now.
And listen to records. The Likens girl's mother, Betty, was at the time in county jail after having been arrested for shoplifting. which left Sylvia to care for her sister. Betty had abandoned Sylvia's father, Lester, and effectively kidnapped their 2 daughters.
Oh, wow.
So you're looking at these 2 girls. Their mother, Betty, snuck out in the middle of the night, however she did it, away from their dad. She's shoplifting. Now these 2 girls are caring for themselves, 16 to 15.
Right, homeless?
And it doesn't say homeless. I don't know where they're living. It doesn't say here, but the mother's in.
No one's feeding them, that's for sure.
Right, and I assume. Well, let's get in. Excuse me. Let's get into it right here. When Paula heard of the girl's circumstances, she offered to let Sylvia and Jenny spend the night. So you're probably right. They were homeless, just out there living on the streets, possibly. The next day, Lester Likens arrived in town. So it's the father of these 2 young ladies. Having tracked down his wife, he ran into McGuire, who recognized the description Lester gave his daughters, as she directed him to the Baniszewski home. When Lester Likens arrived, Gertrude introduced herself as Mrs. Wright. The 2 struck up a conversation, over the course of which the idea came up that Gertrude might take in Sylvia and Jenny as boarders. He had spoken with his wife at the county jail, where they had reconciled and agreed to travel the United States carnival circuit as carnies.
Huh. So he picks her up from jail and says, I got a way out of this.
When I was reading this originally, Jay, I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. I can see this has nothing but the signs of going all bad real quick.
Kind of. I mean, now we're getting off on a tangent. That could be as exciting as this. As the story itself.
I
want to hear about them.
You have kids. How do you just pack up and decide? You know what? When you get out of here, out of the clink, we're gonna go hit the circuit as carnies.
You're the bearded lady,
right? So no one alive knows whether Baniszewski or Lester suggested that she board the girls. Eventually, Lester agreed to leave the children in Gertrude's care for $20 a week. Lester did not inspect the home before leaving. Had he have done so, he would have discovered that Gertrude's home had no stove or microwave, that there were only enough beds for half the people in the house, that the only things Gertrude kept in her pantry were bread and crackers, that most of the surfaces in the home were caked with thick layers of dirt and only enough plates and eating utensils for 3 people.
Oh man, he knew. He was just hung up on the carnival.
And this is what he left these 2 young ladies, the squalor that he left them in.
And that was probably their best scenario, I'm guessing.
I don't know, man. Again, I was fascinated when I was reading this. As I got deeper and deeper into it, I became very emotional about what we're eventually going to get into. That's why when you were wondering about, and not even say wondering, when we were discussing, I don't know how we're going to approach this. I'm like, do we just have to get? We just have to do it. We just got to deliver. We have to give this young lady the due respect to tell it the way that it was.
Yeah, for the victims.
So the first week of Sylvia and Jenny's lives at the Baniszewski home went relatively well. They attended high school and attended teenage social functions with the Baniszewski children, as well as church with Gertrude on Sunday. So we're only 1 week into this thing. When Lester's $20 payment failed to arrive, though, Baniszewski threw a temper tantrum, screaming at the girls, quote, "I took care of you 2 bitches for nothing," close quote.
The true colors coming out quick. Before forcing them to lie across her bed with their skirts and underwear around their ankles while Baniszewski beat their buttocks. Shortly thereafter, Lester and Betty Likens came to town to check on the girls. Neither of them made any reference to the beatings, presumably under threat from Gertrude. That sounds pretty accurate.
And you know what that also tells you is that if you felt like you couldn't go to your parents, what kind of parents did you have?
Yeah, no shit.
Because as a child, if you put your hands on me, I was telling Val, and Val was going to fuck you up.
Maybe at that stage, they was still, at least there's a roof over my head. I don't want to lose that because my parents can't do that.
I think you have 2 parents that just jumped and went on the carny circuit. So you, 16, 15,
can't even put a tent over their head.
You're close to you're close to being adults. You understand what type of parents you have. The next week, Sylvia and Jenny went through the neighborhood garbage, collecting old Coca-Cola bottles to sell in order to get money for candy. When they came home with the candy, Baniszewski accused them of stealing. When Sylvia explained how she had gotten the candy, Baniszewski accused her of lying and made her bend over her bed as before while she beat her across the buttocks with a paddle.
Just for candy?
This woman.
This is all about that $20 still.
Yeah. Right. You got cans and bottles. You should have brought that money to me.
Right.
I would I would bet anything that was probably said. At some point,
at
she
some
was
point, you
beating her. Shortly thereafter, the Baniszewski children came to Gertrude after a church social and told her that they were disgusted with the amount of food they had seen Sylvia eating.
Well, she don't eat at home.
Gertrude told Sylvia that she was angry that Sylvia would do something to ruin her physical appearance and forced the girl to eat a hot dog piled with condiments. When Sylvia vomited, Gertrude forced her to scoop the vomit up and devour it. Soon afterwards, Lester and Betty Likens came into town to check on the girls, per Gertrude's instructions. Sylvia made no reference to the vomit eating incident.
No, she was scared.
So yeah, she's still not saying anything. And you're right, probably
she didn't run away at this point
out of fear. Well, don't forget she does have a sister who has polio, and she's in braces.
Right.
So maybe that plays a part in it. You're the big sister trying to look out for your younger sister.
Yeah, you're not going to get too far like that.
The incident, which appears to have either precipitated, triggered, or coincided with the sharp decline of Gertrude's mental stability, occurred in August of 1965, when she overheard Sylvia remark that she had once allowed a boy to fill her up. Baniszewski explicably burst into a fit of obscenities, accusing Sylvia of being a prostitute, and informed the rest of the house that Sylvia was pregnant because she had let a boy touch her vagina.
And that's not how it works.
But I'm pretty clear. And I'm sure with 7 kids, she knows that's not how it works.
Get my kid to believe that for even a few years, I'm going with it.
Gertrude then attacked Sylvia, repeatedly kicking her in the crotch.
What?
When Sylvia attempted to sit down afterwards, Paula threw her, and Paula was the daughter. We spoke about her earlier. Yep. And she's the one actually who ended up pregnant from the middle-aged man.
She threw her out of the chair. That's for pregnant women only.
So Paula threw her out of the chair and informed her, quote, "You ain't fit to sit in chairs," close quote. From there on, Baniszewski only allowed Sylvia to sit in a chair with permission. Around this time, Gertrude also began allowing her older children to use Sylvia as a sort of living, quote, plaything, with the games with the quote games, ranging from beatings to being pushed down the stairs.
Wow. But that can kill you just going down a set of stairs.
This is what she's allowing. This is what I was, again, not to overuse the word, but fascinated by was the abuse didn't just come from Gertrude, but from her kids.
Yeah, she created a little army of abusers.
And the kids jumped in and got involved with it. When I was growing up as a kid, I didn't even like to see my siblings get spanked. So there was no way I could imagine jumping in here. You have siblings, but I mean, I don't even know. Maybe you didn't have a spanking household. I don't know.
Yeah, we got spanked when we were really little. But I don't have any recollection of getting hit.
Okay.
I know my mother would. Once I was smart enough, I ran from the spatula. I don't think my mother ever would have hit me with it, but I didn't know that, so I ran.
Should have hit you with it.
Yeah, she maybe. She probably should have hit me with it.
You couldn't run in my house. You could not run in my house.
Just make it worse.
Oh, there was no running.
Should I push a button? All the doors would lock.
No, there just wasn't no running. The fear was set into you. You wanted to run. Don't get me wrong.
Let's get it over with.
It's just, let's get this done. And God forbid this woman breaks a nail. So back to the story. Why Sylvia's story so enraged Baniszewski is still uncertain. It has been theorized that she saw in Sylvia the beauty and opportunity for happiness that had long ago escaped her, and so encouraged and participated in Sylvia's degradation and torture as an act of self-loathing. I think while I can maybe understand that to a certain extent, I would not even give the respect to Gertrude to even think of that, because I think you almost give her an excuse. Why can't it just be that this woman was so terrible, so evil? Not that you saw or you were jealous of. You were just evil that you would do this to this girl.
Rewired at that point.
So others have theorized that Gertrude's hard life and current living conditions resulted in a mental break. Still others have theorized that the violence against Likens was an extreme form of domestic abuse in which Baniszewski directed her rage onto Sylvia.
I feel like there's a fine line there, isn't there?
I would definitely agree with you there.
I mean, abusing someone, and what was the other term there? It was either domestic assault,
mental break.
Or mental break.
Yeah.
If you're abusing somebody in your household, at some point you're not mentally right.
Yeah. But I think the way they try to describe it is if you say things like mental break, you almost make Gertrude more victim than as someone who's actually a persecutor, if you will.
Yeah, no, she's this is so far. I mean, we've had some pretty nasty people that we've covered, but so far she's starting to take the cake.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So Likens was an extreme form of domestic abuse in which Baniszewski directed her rage onto Sylvia. Whatever the case, Baniszewski manifested this rage by justifying her attacks by accusing Likens of being a prostitute and delivering bizarre, quote, sermons to her children and Sylvia about the filthiness of prostitutes and women in general.
Your own daughter got impregnated by a middle-aged dude in her teens.
The day after Baniszewski kicked Sylvia in the crotch, according to Jenny, as an act of vengeance, Sylvia and Jenny told their classmates that they had seen Paula and Stephanie, Gertrude's second oldest daughter, having sex with boys in exchange for money. So these two, this is their way of fighting back because they can't fight back in the house. This is what they do at school. Say that the two older girls, the two daughters.
So that wasn't true. Because it could be. I mean, based off what I know about Paula.
I was getting ready to say, I would probably say that
I wouldn't put
true.
It past Paula.
So when Stephanie's 15-year-old boyfriend, Coy Hubbard, discovered that Sylvia and Jenny had said what they had said, he came to Gertrude's home and beat Sylvia. From then on, Hubbard, encouraged by Gertrude, made frequent visits to the Baniszewski home, during which she would instruct the boy to practice his judo on Sylvia.
Oh my God. That's tossing, right? That is just throws and stuff.
So I dug a little deeper in this. I'm glad you asked that question. I dug a little deeper, and in a newspaper article, because there was quite a few newspapers who did a 50-year look back on this back in 2015. And what they came up with was he practiced his judo tosses and his judo kicks.
Oh, they have kicks and judo.
Yes,
okay.
on Sylvia. So yes, that's what he was practicing on her. Also around this time, Baniszewski got Sylvia's best friend, a 13-year-old named Anna Sisko, alone long enough to venture that Sylvia had been telling boys at school that Anna's mother was a whore. When Ruth took Anna to see
Sylvia.
What was that now?
A whore.
Is that how they say it back east?
Back east, no. I think that's more like an old British thing, isn't it? She's a whore.
You're fucking, I swear to God. So when Baniszewski took Anna to see Sylvia, she directed Anna in a violent attack on the girl. Soon after, Baniszewski told one of Paula's friends, a girl named Judy Duke, that Sylvia had been spreading rumors about her mother and pitted the girls against each other in a fist fight. During the fist fight, Baniszewski instructed Jenny to punch Sylvia. When Jenny refused, Gertrude began to beat her in the face with her fist until
that makes sense now why all the other kids are picking on her.
Until Jenny finally agreed to punch Sylvia. This is
fucked up, and it's going to get worse, I'm guessing.
In August of 1965, the vacant house next door to the Baniszewski residence was purchased by a middle-aged couple named Phyllis and Raymond Vermillion. Phyllis, seeing the number of children Baniszewski cared for, believed that Gertrude would make a good babysitter for her two young children, and that she would also be helping Gertrude out by paying her for her services. The Vermillions arranged a backyard barbecue so that the two families could get to know one another. During the course of the barbecue, Phyllis noticed Sylvia wandering around the yard with a pronounced black eye. Paula proudly announced to Phyllis that she was the one who had given it to her.
Yeah, let me get my kids over in that house.
And then under Baniszewski's supervision, Paula approached Sylvia with a glass of steaming water and threw it in Sylvia's face. Neither of the Vermillions reported this incident to the authorities.
Oh, well, fuck those neighbors, man. Fuck them.
But how many atrocities have happened on this planet? Let's not even just talk about abuse of children, abuse of women, men for that matter. I don't leave men out there. There are men out there who are abused by their spouses as well. But how many atrocities has this planet seen where just the innocent, if you will, just stood by and watched it happen?
Yeah, no, it happens all the time.
Stuff doesn't happen without good people, quote unquote, standing by just watching it and letting it. And so I'm just not surprised by this
I just
at
can't.
all.
If I saw steaming, so I'm assuming that means it burned her face. If I witnessed that, something would happen.
You're going to have a problem.
I'm going to have a big problem. You'd fight them, I'd call the cops.
I would fight them. I would fight them. 2 months, you know me so well. 2 months later, Phyllis went to the Baniszewski home to borrow something. Over the course of a few minutes, she was there. She noticed Sylvia wondering. Oh, I just read that. I apologize, folks. Here's around the time that Phyllis Vermillion witnessed Paula beat Sylvia. Sylvia came home from school and told Gertrude that she needed a sweatsuit for gym class. When Baniszewski told Sylvia that they could not afford one, Sylvia stole one from the school. Gertrude questioned Sylvia about her new gym outfit, eventually coercing Sylvia into a confession.
This isn't going to go well.
No. Baniszewski inexplicably segued from the topic of Sylvia stealing into the topic of Sylvia being a prostitute and threw Sylvia onto the ground, where she repeatedly kicked her in the crotch.
What's it with her in the crotch kicks, man?
Before once more returning to the topic of theft. To cure Sylvia of her sticky fingers, and the word cure and sticky fingers here is quoted, Baniszewski burned the tips of each of Sylvia's fingers with a lit cigarette.
Oh, man. This is just getting awful.
It's just, you can just see it escalating. Afterwards, she made Sylvia bend over while she whipped her with a belt. After this incident, the smokers in the Baniszewski home began arbitrarily putting their cigarettes out on Sylvia's body as a reminder for her not to steal.
They've all been coached to do this.
The smokers of
Coach
the Baniszewski.
Gertrude.
Who else is smoking in his house? Who should be smoking?
I bet Paula is. There's no way Paula's not.
Sometime later, Likens went out again to sell old soda bottles for money. When she returned home, Baniszewski accused her of prostitution. Baniszewski took her into the living room of her home and forced Sylvia to strip naked in front of her son and several neighborhood boys. On the threat of beating Jenny, once Sylvia was fully naked, Baniszewski handed her a glass Coca-Cola bottle and forced Sylvia to masturbate with it for the boys. This is why you're not going to get me with this mental break stuff. And I'm going to read this last sentence again. Once Sylvia was fully naked, Baniszewski handed her a glass Coca-Cola bottle and forced Sylvia to masturbate with it for the boys. That sentence alone is enough for me not to.
No, I feel like even I could put someone in a hole for that.
And for people who can't see, I keep saying for people, for all of you who can't see us, Jamie is wringing his hands and rubbing his neck over here.
Yeah, this is hard. This is the hardest one yet.
So, following the Coke bottle incident, Sylvia became incontinent. As a result, Baniszewski decided that she was no longer fit to live with humans and locked her in the basement. The lack of a toilet in the basement forced Sylvia to defecate and urinate on the floor. When Baniszewski saw this, she began, quote, a bathing regimen to cleanse Sylvia, whom she began calling Dirty Girl.
Dirty Girl. That's Paula. I got a thing for Paula here, man. Paula's your dirty girl.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. This consisted of filling Gertrude's claw-footed bathtub with scalding water, binding Sylvia's wrists and ankles, and then dunking Sylvia into it. The regimen was administered arbitrarily, sometimes once or many times a day. Some days not at all. Following the baths, Paula Baniszewski would rub handfuls of salt over Sylvia's nude body. So after scolding her.
What does salt do? Because of the burned skin.
Right.
Oh.
Then you come through, and rub handfuls of salt.
That's like shit the mafia would do to people who stole from
cartels. During this period, Gertrude took on 14-year-old Ricky Hobbs, a 14-year-old boy, as her, quote, personal assistant. When dealing with Sylvia, Hobbs, an honor student from a middle-class family with no previous legal trouble, experienced a sudden shift in personality upon becoming Baniszewski's assistant. Blindly following whatever orders she gave him, crime reporters have since speculated that Hobbs was Baniszewski's lover and that she had seduced the boy into becoming her henchman.
And how old is she at this point? Do we know?
Well, this is still taking place relatively close in time.
The 60s, right?
Yeah, so I want to say she was still mid-30s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Baniszewski's children turned Sylvia into a money-making opportunity, charging neighborhood children a nickel to gawk at the new Sylvia or to push her down the stairs to the basement, where she was now kept when not being bathed or put on display. She was kept constantly naked and rarely fed. When she was allowed to eat, it was in some bizarre fashion, such as the instance in which Gertrude insisted that she eat soup with her fingers. Often Gertrude and her 12-year-old son, John Jr., would make Sylvia, quote, clean the basement by, quote, allowing her to eat her own feces, and gave Sylvia a container in which she could collect urine, which she was then made to drink.
Oh, this is... Can we just get to the part where she's put to death? Gertrude.
No, we can't get there quite yet. But it is just a story, man. One I had never heard before.
No, this is god awful. Gertrude, she needs to experience just a fraction of this somehow.
Sometime, well, you wait. Well, I don't want to ruin it for the folks out there who are listening to us right now. And again, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. So, sometime around this period, Jenny managed to send contact to her and Sylvia's older sister. So, the little sister, polio, leg braces for folks out there who are trying to keep score. Sylvia's younger sister. There was an older sister, Diana, and Jenny got word to her. And Diana, who was married and had a family of her own. Jenny outlined the horrors that she and Sylvia were experiencing and instructed Diana to contact the police to come rescue them. Diana ignored the letter, believing that Jenny was simply displeased with being punished and that she was making up stories that she could come live with her. Oh. And I almost can't knock Diana for it, because when you're reading this or hearing this for the first time, your thought is, there's no way this is happening.
No.
Where on the planet would this be happening? And I can imagine back during 1965, even more so that her sister would think that.
Right. No social media, none of that stuff to talk about. No one would know.
Right. So also around this time, one of the neighborhood children who had been by to see Sylvia, a 12-year-old named Judy Duke, went home and told her mother, quote, they were beating and kicking Sylvia, close quote. The girl's mother replied, that was what happened when someone was punished.
No kicking.
Again, so many people knew about this. No one's doing anything about it. Shortly thereafter, the Baniszewski's Reverend Roy Julian visited them as part of a program he had set up to see each of his parishioners at their homes. While he and Gertrude drank coffee, she complained to him that Sylvia had been an intense burden on her, claiming that the girl was a prostitute who had been servicing married men and had gotten pregnant. Although at the time, Paula was several months pregnant. Gertrude insisted that her daughter was a virgin and that Sylvia was attempting to pass her off her own misdeeds onto the pure Paula.
She must have seen Paula's face on Sylvia, and that's just what she did.
But now you got the pastor sitting here with this.
Yeah.
Listen to this. So Baniszewski and the Reverend prayed for Sylvia's salvation before the Reverend left.
He clearly never saw Sylvia.
When the Reverend returned again a few weeks later, Paula told the Reverend during prayers that she had hatred in her heart, quote unquote, for Sylvia, to which Gertrude interjected that the opposite was true. Shortly after this, Diana came by to visit her sister. So the older sister to Sylvia and then Jenny finally comes by, Diana. Yeah. Gertrude refused to allow her into the home after first telling her that Lester had contacted her. So Lester was the dad, and instructed her not to allow Diana into the home. When Diana questioned this, Gertrude threatened to call the police and have her arrested for trespassing. Diana hid nearby the house until she spotted Jenny outside and then approached her. Jenny told her older sister that she was not allowed to talk to her and then ran away.
Oh, man. So Diana's got to do a little bit more. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and put any blame on Diana, but that's your sister. You showed up at the house. Call the cops. Go ahead.
Right.
Just let me see my sister.
Right. Push the envelope. Concerned, Diana contacted social services. When a social worker arrived at the home, Gertrude informed her that she had kicked Sylvia out of the house for being physically unclean and a prostitute, and that Sylvia had since run away.
She's in the house. Say, let me see a basement. You got to have some information.
Gertrude then managed to get Jenny alone long enough to inform her that if she told the social worker the truth, Jenny would join her sister naked in the basement. Jenny then told the social worker that Sylvia had indeed run away. The social worker returned to her office where she filed a report saying that no more calls needed to be made to the Baniszewski home. I would love to know when, and we'll get there, folks, here shortly, but I would just love to know what these people felt about themselves.
The social services.
The neighbors next door, the neighborhood little girl's mother. I would just love to know what they thought about themselves after.
I mean, the social, you had one job.
One.
Show me this child.
So on October 20th, Gertrude called the police to come arrest a boy at her home. Robert Bruce Hanlon was a local youth who claimed that the Baniszewski children had stolen things from his basement. He had come to the home earlier in the evening demanding that Baniszewski return his things. When she refused, he attempted to sneak into the home to take them back. Phyllis Vermillion witnessed Helen being put into the back of a squad car and approached the police to speak on his behalf, as she had earlier overheard the argument between Baniszewski and Helen over the stolen goods. Vermillion made no mention of Sylvia during her conversation with the police. On October 21st, Baniszewski instructed John Jr., Coy, and Stephanie to bring Sylvia up from the basement and tie her to the bed, telling Sylvia that if she could hold her bladder through the night, she would be permitted to sleep upstairs again.
That's like, oh my God.
When
It's like stabbing someone and saying, if you don't bleed.
Right. When Baniszewski checked Sylvia the next morning and discovered she had wet the bed, Baniszewski made her dress, then took her into the living room, where she was once again forced to perform a striptease for her sons and the neighborhood boys, again climaxed by Baniszewski forcing Sylvia to masturbate with a Coca-Cola bottle. Let me read that again.
No, you don't have to read it.
I want to read it again because I'm not quite getting it. Where she was once again forced to perform a striptease for her sons and the neighborhood boys, again climaxed by Baniszewski. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out who was climaxing here. That's what. Okay. The whole scene was climaxed with.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's I thought you meant Sylvia.
Right. That's why I went back and reread it.
Okay.
When Sylvia was finished, she was allowed to dress. After a few moments, apropos of nothing, Gertrude brought up Sylvia's lies about Paula and Stephanie and declared, quote, "You have branded my daughter, so I will brand you," close quote. Sylvia was forcibly stripped naked, tied down, and gagged by one of Baniszewski's children, heated a sewing needle with a series of matches. When the needle was orange, Gertrude used it to carve and burn the letter I and part of the letter M in Sylvia's stomach. She then instructed Ricky Hobbs to continue carving letters to spell out the phrase, "I'm a prostitute and proud of it."
That's a lot of letters.
Until they took a needle, heated it up till it was orange, and spelled out, "I'm a prostitute and proud of it," with a hot needle in this girl's stomach. 16-year-old girl. At one point, Hobbs stopped and asked Baniszewski in a confused manner to spell prostitute for him. Baniszewski wrote it down on a piece of paper and the burning recommenced. When the process was finished, the tattoo consisting not only of the actual carving, but third-degree burns left behind by the heat of the needle was such that modern plastic surgery would have been unable to correct it.
Wow.
That's how badly they burned this young lady. Satisfied, Baniszewski left the room, leaving Sylvia tied, gagged, and naked. At this point, Ricky, Paula, and Baniszewski's 10-year-old daughter, Shirley, decided to give Sylvia another tattoo, an S in the middle of her chest. The three would later become confused as to whether they had intended the S to stand for Sylvia or slave, though the latter explanation was the one which was leaned towards as being correct.
Supergirl.
What?
I mean, I don't know. That's when you said S. It was almost like they were mocking Superman or Superwoman.
No, but it sounds like when they were talking to the three of them, that's where they said the story, the explanation of what or why it got confused. Was it the S was supposed to be Sylvia or for slave? Sounds like one or two were saying one and the other was saying the other. Ricky burned the bottom curve of the S into Sylvia. He then either choked or changed his mind because he then ordered Jenny to come over and carve the top half. Although threatened, Jenny refused. Ricky relented and ordered Shirley to finish the tattoo. The 11-year-old choked and accidentally carved the curve backwards so that the numeral 3 appeared on Lycan's chest. So now it looked like a 3 instead of an S. Baniszewski re-entered the room at this point to address the still bound and gagged Sylvia. Quote, "What are you going to do now, Sylvia? You can't get married now. You can't undress in front of anyone. What are you going to do now?" Close quote. Sylvia was ungagged to address Baniszewski, and she replied, quote, "I guess there's nothing I can do. It's on there." Close quote. Hubbard then took Sylvia back to the basement where he used her for judo practice for a period before returning home.
How is this girl still standing?
I don't know how she was making it through this. In the middle of the night, Jenny Lycan sneaked into the basement to visit her sister, where Sylvia told her, quote, "I'm going to die. I can tell." Close quote. Shortly after Jenny's visit, Baniszewski inexplicably went into the basement and brought Sylvia upstairs and allowed her to sleep in one of the beds. She was allowed to sleep until noon of the next day, October 23rd, when Baniszewski woke her. Once Sylvia was awake, Baniszewski and Stephanie took her into the bathroom and gave her a warm, soapy bath. After the bath, Gertrude and Paula dressed Sylvia. and then dictated a letter to her, intended to look like a runaway letter to her parents. For reasons unknown, Baniszewski dictated that Sylvia open the letter, "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Likens." The words which Baniszewski dictated were, "I went with a gang of boys in the middle of the night, and they said they would pay me if I would give them something. So I got in the car, and they all got what they wanted. And when they got finished, they beat me up and left sores on my face and all over my body. And they also put on my stomach. I am a prostitute and proud of it. I have done just about everything I could do just to make Gertie mad and cause Gertie more money than she's got.
This is the worst cover-up ever.
I've tore up a new mattress and peed on it. I have also got Gertie doctor bills that she really can't pay and made Gertie a nervous wreck and all her kids." Just as strangely as Baniszewski's insistence on a formal salutation, she instructed Sylvia not to sign it. After Sylvia finished the letter, Baniszewski began formulating a plan to have John Jr. and Jenny take Sylvia to a nearby garbage dump and leave her there to die. When Sylvia overheard this, she ran for the front door, but in her emaciated and mutilated state, moved so slowly that Baniszewski was able to grab her just as she reached the front door and drag her back into the house.
They're just done with her.
Yeah, it's like, what else are we going to do with her? Once Baniszewski settled Sylvia down, she took her into the kitchen and made her some toast. Sylvia attempted to eat it, but then she said she couldn't swallow. Baniszewski took down the curtain rod in the kitchen and beat Sylvia in the mouth with it. John then took Sylvia into the basement and tied her up while Baniszewski prepared a plate of crackers for Sylvia. When she ordered the crackers to Sylvia, Sylvia replied, quote, "Feed it to the dog, is hungrier than I am," close quote. Baniszewski repeatedly punched Sylvia in the stomach before leaving her in the basement. On the next day, October 24th, Baniszewski came into the basement and attempted to bludgeon Sylvia. First, she tried to hit her with a chair, but missed and broke it against the wall. Next, she tried to beat her over the head with the paddle, but swung in such a wide arc that it came back against her own face, blacking her eye.
Good.
Right. First time.
Finally good out of this.
To stop the strange show, Hubbard stepped in and beat Sylvia unconscious with a broomstick. Over the course of that night and into the morning hours of October 25th, Sylvia beat the basement floor with the scoop portion of an iron shovel. Next door neighbors would later report considering calling the police, but chose not to.
On that house, I would have called the cops every day.
On October 26th, Baniszewski voiced her intentions to give Sylvia a warm bath. Stephanie and Ricky brought Sylvia upstairs and laid her in the tub fully clothed. They took her out shortly thereafter when they realized she was not breathing. Stephanie gave Sylvia CPR, but by this time, Sylvia was already dead. Gertrude instructed her children to take Sylvia's body to the basement and strip it naked. Then she told Hobbs to go to a nearby payphone and call the police, her house having no working phone. When the police arrived, Baniszewski gave them the letter she'd made Sylvia dictate. In the midst of the commotion, Jenny Likens whispered to one of the police, "Get me out of here and I'll tell you everything." This statement, combined with the police's discovery of Sylvia's body in the basement, prompted the officers to arrest Gertrude, Paula, Stephanie, John, Hobbs, and Hubbard for murder. Other neighborhood children present at the time, Mike Monroe, Randy Lepper, Duke, and Cisco, were arrested for injury to a person.
So they just pulled off a bus and just load them all in. How many were 10? 10 of them or so they arrested? They can't put them all. Obviously, the younger ones, you can't hold that against them, but to some degree, but because the mother coached them. But that, I hope they just hang her, like literally just hang her.
So we get to the trial portion of this. So Gertrude, her children, Hobbs, and Hubbard were held without bail pending their trials. Charges against Cisco, Duke, Monroe, and Lepper were dismissed. Stephanie's lawyer got her a separate trial before it was able to begin. The district attorney dropped the murder charges. So that was against the younger sister. Yeah. Meanwhile, an autopsy on Sylvia Likens turned up over 100 cigarette burns on her body, in addition to various second and third degree burns, severe bruising, and muscle and nerve damage. In her death throes, Sylvia bit through her lips, nearly severing each of them. Her vaginal cavity was nearly swollen shut, although an examination of the canal determined that her hymen was still intact.
She was a virgin.
Absolutely. Largely discrediting, along with the lack of any ripping and tearing to the rectum, Gertrude's assertions that Sylvia was a prostitute and completely disproving her insistence that she was pregnant. The official cause of death was brain swelling, internal hemorrhaging of the brain, and shock. The case of the state of Indiana versus Gertrude Baniszewski, John Baniszewski, Paula Baniszewski, Ricky Hobbs, and Coy Hubbard commenced on May of 1966. The prosecution sought the death penalty for all involved, including John and Hobbs, who were 13 and 14 at the time. So they were trying to give the death penalty to those young boys who were 13 and 14, and for me, rightfully so. What's your thoughts?
I just want this story to be over. This is awful. Gertrude, I've never hated someone I've never met so bad.
Paula's time in court was interrupted.
Oh, yeah. Paula, I hope she gets it too.
Okay.
Fuck Paula.
Paula's time in court was interrupted when she was rushed to the hospital to give birth to the child that she and her mother had insisted she wasn't carrying. In a show of solidarity, Paula named the child Gertrude. So she named the kid after her mother.
I mean, that's really that's a bad thing, though. Gertrude.
Yes.
That's a terrible name.
It's a terrible name, and you named it after a terrible person. So Baniszewski and the children's cases were exacerbated by the fact that they were being represented by 4 different attorneys. One for Baniszewski, one for Paula, one for Hobbs, and one for Coy and John. All of whom worked against each other and attempted to shift blame against the other defendants, even though they were all being tried together. Now, Baniszewski's attorney attempted to shift blame onto the children, portraying her as a weak, chronically ill, and incapable of preventing and perpetuating any of this abuse. At her trial the following year, Baniszewski denied any knowledge of the torture, claiming the children must have done it all. She entered pleas of not guilty and not guilty by reason of insanity. The children's attorneys attempted to shift blame onto Baniszewski and the other children. Some of the most damaging testimony against Gertrude was due to her own self-incrimination. She recounted bizarre tales of Sylvia Likens being a neighborhood prostitute and of her trysts with middle-aged married men, as well as accusing her of frequently starting fights in the home. To corroborate Gertrude's testimony, 11-year-old Marie was called to the stand. Initially, Marie backed up everything her mother had said, until during cross-examination, she suddenly screamed, quote, "God help me," before admitting everything she said was a lie, and went on to recount in graphic, blunt detail how her mother and siblings had tortured and murdered Sylvia.
Finally.
The young girl's shocking turn against her own family was largely responsible for the eventual verdict. Baniszewski was found guilty of murder in the first degree. To the shock of the citizens of Indianapolis, she did not receive the death penalty, but rather life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. On May 19, 1966, a jury found Baniszewski guilty of first-degree murder, while Paula was found guilty of second-degree murder.
Oh, she's still in jail.
Hobbs, along with Baniszewski's son John and another neighborhood boy, Coy Hubbard, were convicted of manslaughter. Gertrude and Paula were sentenced to life terms at the Indiana Women's Prison in Indianapolis. The boys were sentenced to 2 to 21-year terms at the Indiana State
2 to 21?
Yep, 2 to 21-year terms at the Indiana State Reformatory in Pendleton. So we continue on to what happened after the trial. Paula was convicted of second-degree murder, but when her conviction was overturned in 1971 on a technicality, she pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter. Rather than face a retrial, she got 2 to 21 years. But
it's such a wide range, 2 to 21.
Yeah. And in spite of attempting a prison break, was paroled in March of 1972 and released completely in March of 1974.
Oh, that bitch is still around.
She changed her name to Paula Pace and wasn't heard from again until 2012, when she was discovered living in a small Iowa hamlet of Marshalltown and working for the school system in the neighboring town of Conrad.
Oops, missed a background check on that one.
Yes. Paula, the mother of 2 grown sons, wasn't charged with any additional crimes, but was fired from her job for providing false information on her employee application.
Like, I'm not a murderer.
Right. Since then, she has once more slipped off the grid. Stephanie, the second oldest of the Baniszewski children, was 15 at the time of the crime. Though she admitted to participating to some degree in Sylvia's abuse, she was granted a special trial and then all charges against her were dropped, likely because she agreed to turn state's evidence against her family. She reportedly changed her name, married, had children, and worked as a teacher, and now lives in Florida. John Baniszewski, Hubbard, and Hobbs were each convicted of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced to 18 months in a juvenile detention facility. By the time the now 17-year-old Hobbs was released, the severity of his crimes had sunk in, and he suffered a nervous breakdown. He began a regimen of heavy chain smoking, which had severely decayed his lungs by the time he was 20. By the time he was 21, he was dead of lung cancer.
Wow. That's a smoker right there. Good.
Yes, that was old Hobbs there. Good and gone. Baniszewski appealed, was granted a new trial, and was again found guilty. So she was again found guilty, though this time she was sentenced to 18 years to life. Over the course of the next 18 years, Baniszewski became a model prisoner, working in a sewing shop and becoming a den mother to young female inmates. By the time she came up for parole in 1985, she had earned the prison nickname Mom. The news of Baniszewski's parole hearing sent shockwaves to the Indiana community. Jenny Likens and her family appeared on television to speak out against Baniszewski. The members of two anti-crime groups, Protect the Innocent and Society's League Against Molestation, traveled to Indiana to oppose Gertrude's parole and support the Likens family, beginning a sidewalk picket campaign. Over the course of 2 months, the groups collected 4,500 signatures from the citizens of Indiana demanding that Baniszewski be kept behind bars. In spite of all this, Gertrude was granted parole.
Wow.
During the hearing, she gave the following confession, quote, "I'm not sure what role I had in it because I was on drugs. I never really knew her. I take full responsibility for whatever happened to Sylvia," close quote.
Oh, fuck off.
Baniszewski walked out of prison on December 4th, 1985, and traveled to Iowa under the name Nadine Van Falsen. She died there of lung cancer in 1990. The fates of Baniszewski's children remains largely unknown, minus the few details we were able to uncover. John changed his name to John Blake and worked as a truck driver before becoming a real estate agent and lay minister. He was never arrested again. He married and had 3 children and has lived in anonymity, only surfacing briefly in 1998 in the wake of a Jonesboro massacre to speak for the first time about the Likens murder, saying that he took full responsibility for his role in the murder and that a harsher sentence would have been more just. He died of cancer in 2005 at 52. In a masterpiece of understatement, he once told a reporter that, quote, "My mom was a very selfish and self-centered woman," close quote.
You don't say, buddy.
The case is unique in that while Baniszewski did play an active role in Likens' death, the majority of the torture that eventually brought about Likens' demise was carried out by the Baniszewski's teenage children and other neighborhood children. Although Gertrude did instruct the children on several occasions, it was later discovered that they took a large degree of Likens' torture into their own hands, and what would later be called a Lord of the Fly scenario come to life. When she was convicted of first-degree murder in 1965, the case was called, quote, "the single worst crime perpetuated against an individual in Indiana's history."
That's literally the worst story I think I've ever heard. That didn't involve like Hitler.
Yeah, that was again, I wanted to share this. I'll say this again. I wanted to share it. I had never heard of it, never read about it, never heard anyone else talk about it. Maybe I missed it on an episode of another podcast, possibly. I don't know. But I was absolutely just pulled into it and just really emotional reading it and discovering all the little different
I can see the emotion
tidbits about it.
That's it. I go the other way.
What way would that
halfway through this, I wanted to run.
Well, thank you for sitting here and taking it on. I've been Sidney Smith, and this is
Jamie Kamaya.
From the Sidney Smith Creative. This has been the Murderess Podcast. If you like our show, be sure to tell your friends and family. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you're listening right now. Leave that 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts if that happens to be where you are listening. Remember, you can also support the show and receive bonus content like we talked about at the beginning of this podcast by joining our fan club by going to patreon.com/Murderous Podcast. About the story you just heard, we sourced it from Murderpedia. Look for The Woman by J. Robert Nash, M. Evans and Company, Inc., 1981. Also from the Indiana Torture Slaying, Sylvia Likens' Torture and Death by John Dean, 1999, and the Indianapolis Monthly, October 15, 2015 by Sam Stahl. Thank you guys again for listening, and remember, be aware of your surroundings, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.